Welcome to our deep dive, into the one thing
Oh, yeah.
by Gary Keller and J. Papasan.
Okay.
This book promises to help us kind of unlock those extraordinary results by showing us how to cut through the clutter and really zero in on what truly matters.
It's really a fascinating exploration of, productivity and success. And I think it challenges a lot of the conventional wisdom we often hear about getting things done.
I'm really intrigued by that whole idea of going small to get big results,
Yeah.
which seems counterintuitive at first.
Right.
Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Absolutely. Keller emphasizes that success isn't about doing everything. It's about identifying that most important task, your
Yeah.
one thing, and relentlessly focusing on it.
Okay.
He had this epiphany when he started asking his clients a very simple question. What's the one thing you can do this week such that by doing it, everything else would be easier or unnecessary?
Wow, I love that question.
Yeah.
It forces you to really distill things down to their essence.
Yes.
Did he find that his clients had trouble answering that initially?
Many did, because we're so conditioned to think that everything is important
Right.
and we need to juggle all these multiple priorities at the same time. But once they pinpointed that one thing, their results were truly transformative.
He uses some great examples in the book to kind of illustrate this
Yeah.
principle in action, right?
Yes, he highlights companies like KFC,
Okay.
Coors, and Google, all of which built empires around a single product or service.
Uh-huh.
By focusing on that one thing and perfecting it, they achieved really remarkable success.
It makes you wonder what we could accomplish if we applied that same laser focus to
Yeah.
our own lives, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And that's really the challenge the book poses to us. It
Right.
encourages us to consider how narrowing our focus,
Mhm.
rather than trying to do it all,
Yeah.
might actually lead to bigger and more meaningful outcomes.
Okay, so Keller calls out some common misconceptions that
Oh,
hold us back,
yeah.
those lies that we often tell ourselves about productivity.
Uh-huh.
One that really struck me was that myth of multitasking.
Right, that's a big one.
Yeah.
He completely debunks the idea that we can effectively juggle multiple tasks at once,
Uh-huh.
arguing that multitasking actually hinders our productivity
Yeah.
by dividing our attention and diminishing the quality of our work.
He cites an interesting study in the book about distracted driving.
Yes, he references that Pulitzer Prize-winning article, Driven to Distraction,
Right.
which highlighted the dangers of even something as seemingly harmless as talking on the phone while driving.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder that our brains just aren't wired to multitask effectively.
Precisely trying to do too many things at once simply leads to decreased focus
Yeah.
and ultimately poorer results.
Right.
The book encourages us to challenge ourselves and consider the impact that multitasking might be having on our own lives, both personally and professionally.
Another misconception Keller tackles is that belief that success hinges on maintaining a disciplined life, which always sounded exhausting to me.
He challenges that notion, suggesting that it's less about being constantly disciplined and more about developing the right habits.
Okay.
Think of Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps and his incredibly focused training regimen.
Right, his success didn't stem from being disciplined every single second.
Right.
It came from consistently adhering to a carefully crafted plan.
Exactly. The key is identifying the crucial habit, the
Mm,
keystone habit,
right.
that will have the biggest impact on your one thing,
Yeah.
and consciously working to cultivate that habit.
Which makes me think about that lie that Keller exposes about willpower.
Yes.
That idea that willpower is always on will call.
Uh-huh. He digs into the science behind willpower, explaining that it operates like a muscle that gets fatigued with use.
It's not an inexhaustible resource.
Right.
We can't expect to make difficult decisions all day long
Yeah.
and resist every temptation without replenishing our mental energy.
Keller encourages us to strategically manage our willpower throughout the day, ensuring we tackle the most demanding tasks when our mental energy is at its peak.
Okay.
It's an essential consideration for anyone striving to maximize their productivity.
He also challenges that widely held belief that we should all aspire to a balanced life.
He uses this brilliant analogy of a seesaw to illustrate this point.
Okay.
True balance isn't about maintaining perfect equilibrium at all times,
Hmm.
but rather about strategically counterbalancing.
Right.
Sometimes we need to lean more heavily into our work,
Yeah.
while other times our personal lives demand more attention.
It's about recognizing that we can't be all in on everything simultaneously
Right.
and making deliberate choices about where to focus our energy at any given moment.
Precisely. It liberates us from the pressure of striving for impossible perfection in every area of our lives.
Yeah.
Instead, we're empowered to prioritize based on our current needs and goals.
And finally, he tackles that lie that big is bad,
Right.
which resonates with a lot of people who shy away from those ambitious goals.
He actually encourages us to embrace big thinking.
Okay. Highlighting the inspiring story of Hotmail founder Sabir Bhatia, who arrived in America with very little money,
Right.
but achieved remarkable success through his audacious vision.
Bhatia's mentor even attributed his success to his gargantuan dreams. It underscores the power of believing in the possibility of achieving something extraordinary, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It aligns with the work of a psychologist, Carol Dweck, on growth mindsets,
Right.
where individuals believe their abilities can be developed through hard work and dedication.
Okay.
Keller encourages us to adopt this mindset, shed our limiting beliefs about what's possible,
Yeah.
and dare to aim high.
I love that if we don't believe in the possibility of achieving something great, how can we ever expect to get there?
Exactly. It's all about recognizing the immense power of our thoughts to shape our reality and our outcomes.
So if thinking big is so essential, what's the key to translating those grand aspirations into tangible results?
Keller offers this brilliant tool called the focusing question to help us pinpoint our one thing in any area of life. Okay? So it's like a compass guiding us toward those actions that'll have the most significant impact. How does
Yeah.
it work?
It's structured very specifically.
Hmm.
What's the one thing I can do, specific area, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary?
Such a simple yet powerful question.
Yeah.
It forces you to cut through all the noise and identify that action with the greatest potential to really make a difference.
And Keller stresses the importance of seeking a truly great answer,
Mhm.
one that pushes us beyond our comfort zone
Right.
and encourages us to benchmark against the best.
So it's not about settling for that quick fix or an easy solution,
Right.
but about digging deep and brainstorming until we uncover the answer that has the power to really transform our lives.
He even suggests studying the strategies and insights of those who've already achieved what we aspire to. It's like standing on the shoulders of giants, leveraging their wisdom and knowledge to propel ourselves forward.
That's an incredibly valuable approach to problem solving and achieving those remarkable results.
Once we've identified our one thing, he introduces the concept of the 3 commitments,
Okay.
which help us stay laser focused on our goal.
It's about taking those initial steps toward making our dreams a reality. What are those commitments?
The first is naturally commitment to your one thing.
Okay.
This involves fully dedicating yourself to pursuing your most important goal and making it your top priority.
So it's about more than just acknowledging its importance. It's about taking action and prioritizing it above all else.
Precisely. The second commitment to the way, emphasizes consistently seeking the most effective strategies for achieving your one thing. This means being open to learning new skills,
Okay.
experimenting with different approaches, and continually refining your methods.
It's about recognizing that there's always room for improvement
Right.
and embracing a mindset of continuous learning and growth.
Exactly. And the third commitment to accountability underscores the power of tracking your progress and finding ways to stay accountable.
So whether it's through a mentor, a coach, or a trusted friend, having someone to hold us accountable can be a game changer in our pursuit of our goals.
Absolutely. It provides us with support, encouragement,
Right.
and a valuable external perspective that can help us stay motivated and on track.
But even with these commitments in place, Keller acknowledges that certain obstacles can hinder our progress. He calls them the 4 thieves of productivity.
The first thief is the inability to say no.
Right.
So often we feel obligated to say yes to every request,
Yeah.
every invitation, every opportunity that comes our way.
It's like we're afraid of disappointing others or missing out on something potentially valuable.
But in reality, saying yes to too many things simply leads to overwhelmed distraction and ultimately a lack of progress toward our one thing.
Yeah.
Keller emphasizes the importance of learning to politely decline requests that don't align with our top priority.
It's about recognizing that our time and energy are precious resources, and we need to be intentional about how we expend them.
Precisely. The second thief is the fear of chaos. Many people crave order and control, finding the idea of letting go and accepting that some things will inevitably be left undone incredibly unsettling.
It can be challenging to embrace imperfection and relinquish the need for absolute control.
However, Keller argues that this fear of chaos can actually impede our progress, preventing us from taking risks, embracing new opportunities,
Right.
and truly focusing on what matters most.
It's like we become so preoccupied with maintaining order that we miss out on the magic that can occur when we allow ourselves to embrace a bit of chaos and uncertainty.
He encourages us to let go of the need for absolute perfection,
Yeah.
to accept that some things will always remain unfinished, and to trust that by focusing on our one thing,
Right.
everything else will ultimately fall into place.
It's a liberating perspective shift, reminding us that true productivity isn't about doing everything, but rather about focusing our energy on the right things.
Exactly. The third thief is poor health habits.
Okay.
It's easy to neglect our physical and mental well-being when we're caught up in the whirlwind of daily life.
Yeah.
But Keller stresses the profound impact our health has on our ability to achieve extraordinary results.
When we're sleep deprived, stressed,
Right.
or physically unwell, our cognitive function suffers, our energy levels plummet,
Yeah.
and our willpower dwindles.
It's like trying to function at our best while running on empty.
Right.
Keller reminds us that self-care is not selfish. It's essential for achieving our goals and living a fulfilling life.
He encourages us to prioritize sleep exercise, proper nutrition,
Right.
and stress management, recognizing that these seemingly simple habits form the bedrock of extraordinary results.
And finally, the fourth thief is an unsupportive environment.
Okay.
Our surroundings can either facilitate or sabotage our efforts to reach our goals.
If we're constantly bombarded by distractions, negativity,
Yeah.
or people who don't believe in our dreams,
Right.
it can be incredibly challenging to stay focused and motivated.
Keller encourages us to critically evaluate our environment and identify any potential roadblocks. Perhaps we need to create a dedicated workspace free from distractions, or surround ourselves with positive, supportive individuals who champion our vision.
It's about recognizing that we have the power to shape our environment and create a space that nurtures our productivity, creativity, and ultimate success.
Right.
It's about taking ownership of our surroundings and ensuring they align with our goals and aspirations.
In the next part of the book, Keller brings everything together,
Okay.
reminding us that the journey to extraordinary results is an ongoing process, not a destination we reach and then simply stop.
It's about continuously striving for improvement, refining our approach,
Right.
and adapting to new challenges as they arise.
He shares a lovely story about a young boy who solved a complex world puzzle by focusing on assembling the man first.
I can already sense there's a lesson here.
To the father's astonishment, the son finishes the puzzle in record time.
I imagine the father was quite surprised.
He asks his son how he managed to solve it so quickly.
What did the son say?
"It was easy, Dad," he replies. "When I put the man together, the world just fell into place."
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
It highlights how focusing on our one thing, on putting ourselves together first,
Right.
can simplify everything else.
It reinforces the idea that success starts from within and that our external achievements often mirror our internal state.
By prioritizing our well-being purpose and most important work, we create a ripple effect that extends outward,
Yeah.
positively influencing not only our lives, but also the world around us.
It's a powerful message that encourages us to simplify focus and dedicate ourselves to what truly matters.
In a world that's increasingly complex and demanding, that message resonates deeply.
It certainly does. This book is a powerful call to action, encouraging us to take ownership of our lives, clarify our purpose, and make conscious choices about where we direct our energy.
It reminds us that we possess the capacity to shape our destinies, achieve remarkable things, and live without regrets. It's a message I think we can all embrace.
Absolutely. Picking up where we left off, I found Keller's insights on that interconnectedness of purpose, priority, and productivity particularly compelling.
He describes them as parts of an iceberg. A brilliant analogy.
Productivity is the tip, what we see above the surface,
Yeah.
while purpose and priority are that massive foundation beneath driving everything.
It highlights how crucial that unseen foundation is to our outward achievements.
Yeah.
Without a clear sense of purpose, it's like we're adrift, lacking direction and focus.
He even uses Ebenezer Scrooge to illustrate this point.
Okay.
First, Scrooge is consumed by money, his sole purpose and priority.
Right.
But after his encounter with the ghosts of Christmas, everything shifts.
His heart opens. He realizes that importance of human connection.
Yeah.
And his priority becomes using his wealth to help others.
And his transformation leads to this remarkable surge in productivity as he channels his energy into acts of kindness.
It beautifully demonstrates how clarifying our purpose and aligning our priorities can really fuel our productivity and lead to a much more fulfilling life.
It's not just about getting things done, it's about aligning our actions with our values and aspirations.
And speaking of purpose, Keller emphasizes the importance of uncovering our big why,
Yeah.
the driving force behind our motivations.
It's about understanding what inspires us, what sustains us through challenges, what gives our lives meaning.
I imagine that process of self-discovery can feel daunting for some.
He acknowledges that
Okay.
offering a simple yet profound suggestion,
Mm-hmm.
pick a direction and start moving.
Even without all the answers, even if our purpose isn't crystal clear, taking action, experimenting, and exploring different paths can lead to greater clarity.
It's like embarking on an adventure.
Okay.
We may not know the exact destination,
Yeah.
but as we journey, we gather experiences, acquire knowledge, and ultimately find our way.
And along the way, we might discover that happiness isn't the destination, but rather a byproduct of pursuing a fulfilling purpose.
Keller differentiates between happiness and fulfillment.
Okay.
He suggests happiness is fleeting, often tied to external achievements or possessions,
Right.
while fulfillment is more enduring, arising from aligning our actions with a greater purpose.
It makes sense. We often chase happiness by acquiring things
Right.
or achieving goals, but that satisfaction is often short-lived.
We adapt to our new reality,
Right.
and then we're off pursuing the next thing.
But fulfillment, he argues, comes from living in accordance with our values and contributing to something larger than ourselves.
Exactly.
It's an intrinsic reward, not dependent on external circumstances.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the concept of priority,
Okay.
a word whose original meaning was the very first or most important thing.
It's interesting how that word became pluralized over time,
Right.
implying we can have multiple equally important priorities.
Keller argues that true success comes from identifying our one thing, our top priority, and making it the central focus of our efforts. He advocates for this simple yet powerful technique, writing down your top priority for the day and keeping it visible,
Okay.
a constant reminder of what truly matters.
It's like charting a course for our day, ensuring we stay focused on that most important task
Right.
and avoid getting sidetracked by less essential activities.
To enhance our focus and productivity further, Keller introduces time blocking.
This involves scheduling dedicated time for our one thing, shielding ourselves from distractions, and creating space for deep immersion in the task.
It's about treating our most important work like an unbreakable appointment with ourselves,
Right.
a commitment to making progress toward our goals. He recommends blocking out 4 hours a day
Wow.
for our one thing, a suggestion that might seem radical,
Yeah.
but could yield remarkable results.
He shares the example of Stephen King,
Yeah.
who dedicates his mornings to writing undisturbed and fully absorbed in his craft.
And his prolific output speaks volumes about the effectiveness of this approach.
It underscores how time is our most precious resource and how intentionally blocking out time for our one thing allows us to invest in what truly matters.
Keller further refines the concept of time blocking by distinguishing between maker time and manager time.
Okay, so maker time is dedicated to the actual work, creating, producing, executing.
Right.
It requires uninterrupted focus and concentration.
Exactly.
Manager time, on the other hand, is for meetings, emails, phone calls, and other administrative tasks.
While those administrative tasks are often necessary, they can easily fragment our day and disrupt our flow. Keller suggests clustering our manager time,
Okay.
handling those tasks in batches to protect large blocks of uninterrupted maker time.
It's a strategic way to structure our day, ensuring we have dedicated space for both deep work and essential administrative functions.
To maintain motivation and consistency, Keller highlights a technique used by Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, interesting.
Seinfeld's approach is beautifully simple.
Okay.
He hangs a large calendar on his wall,
Uh-huh.
and for every day he writes, he marks a big red X, creating a visual chain.
His goal is to never break the chain,
Exactly.
to maintain that consistent streak of daily writing.
It's amazing how such a simple visual cue can reinforce our commitment and keep us accountable to our goals.
To round out the book, Keller delves deeper into the significance of those three commitments, offering practical advice for implementing them in our lives.
He emphasizes that these commitments are not mere promises.
Right.
They require consistent action to transform our dreams into reality.
The first commitment to our one thing
Yeah.
demands prioritizing it above all else,
Right.
making it that driving force behind our decisions and actions.
This means actively saying no to distractions, delegating or eliminating tasks that don't align with our one thing,
Wow.
and creating space for focused effort.
The second commitment to the way requires us to constantly seek the most effective strategies for achieving our one thing.
It's about embracing a growth mindset, experimenting with different methods, and continually seeking ways to improve our approach.
The third commitment to accountability underscores the power of sharing our progress with someone regularly.
Whether it's a mentor, a coach, or a trusted friend, having someone to hold us accountable increases our likelihood of success significantly.
It's like having a dedicated supporter who believes in us, encourages us, and helps us stay on track.
Keller reminds us that simply writing down our goals is helpful, but regularly sharing our progress amplifies our chances of achieving them.
To conclude the book, Keller shares a wonderful story that encapsulates the essence of the one thing.
I'm curious to hear it.
All right?
It's about a father and son who spend a Saturday together.
Okay.
The father, eager to complete his morning routine, gives his son this complex puzzle to keep him occupied.
I can already sense there's a lesson here.
To the father's astonishment, the son finishes the puzzle in record time.
I imagine the father was quite surprised.
He asks his son how he managed to solve it so quickly.
What did the son say?
"It was easy, Dad," he replies. "When I put the man together, the world just fell into place."
That's a beautiful story. It highlights how focusing on our one thing, putting ourselves together first, can simplify everything else.
It reinforces the idea that success starts from within and that our external achievements often mirror our internal state.
By prioritizing our well-being, purpose, and most important work, we create a ripple effect that extends outward, positively influencing not only our lives, but also the world around us.
It's a powerful message that encourages us to simplify focus and dedicate ourselves to what truly matters.
In a world that's increasingly complex and demanding, that message resonates deeply.
Mhm.
Certainly does. This book is like a powerful call to action,
Yeah.
encouraging us to take ownership of our lives, clarify our purpose, and make those conscious choices about where we direct our energy.
It reminds us that we have that capacity to shape our own destinies, achieve remarkable things, and live without regrets. It's a message I think we can all embrace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to kind of bring it all together, we've distilled those key takeaways
Yeah.
from the one thing into a concise 10-point summary.
Okay, let's recap those essential insights.
Number one, extraordinary results come from identifying and relentlessly focusing on your one thing, that single most important task that'll make everything else easier or unnecessary.
Number two, remember that 80-20 principle. 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. So prioritize those high-impact activities and streamline your focus.
Number three, ditch the myth of multitasking. Instead, concentrate on one task at a time for those optimal results and a heightened sense of accomplishment.
Number four, success hinges not on constant discipline, but on cultivating the right habits that support your one thing, those actions that'll propel you toward your goal effortlessly.
Number five, treat your willpower like the valuable resource that it is. Manage your mental energy wisely, recognizing that it's finite and needs to be replenished regularly.
Number six, release the pressure of seeking that perfect work-life balance. Instead, embrace counterbalancing, strategically prioritizing different areas of your life at different times, allowing yourself to lean in where needed without guilt or self-judgment.
Number seven, dare to think big and set ambitious goals. Don't allow limiting beliefs to hold you back from unlocking your full potential and achieving those extraordinary things.
Number eight, employ the focusing question to illuminate your path.
Right.
What's the one thing I can do in a specific area such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? This powerful inquiry will guide you toward your most impactful actions.
Number nine, commit wholeheartedly to your one thing, to discovering the most effective ways to achieve it, and to holding yourself accountable for your progress.
Right.
These three commitments are the cornerstones of sustainable success.
And finally, number 10, be vigilant against the four thieves of productivity.
Okay.
The inability to say no, the fear of chaos, poor health habits, and an unsupportive environment. Guard your time, energy, and focus fiercely.
This 10-point summary beautifully encapsulates that essence of the one thing. This book offers actionable advice, inspiring stories, and a transformative message that can profoundly impact how we approach our work and our lives.
It's a reminder that simplicity and focus are the keys to unlocking extraordinary results in any domain.
And I really hope this deep dive has provided you with some valuable insights and practical tools to implement these principles in your own life. But as with all journeys of learning and growth, the exploration doesn't end here.
There's always more to discover, more to learn, and more to achieve.
As you continue on your path, I leave you with one final thought-provoking question to ponder. The one thing primarily focuses on that individual achievement.
Okay.
But what if we applied this principle to collaborative endeavors? Could focusing on a single shared objective be the key to unlocking unprecedented levels of teamwork, innovation, and collective success?
It's an intriguing question that invites us to consider how this principle might be scaled to address broader challenges and create a more impactful future.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the one thing. Until next time, may you find clarity, focus, and extraordinary results in all your pursuits.